Hi everybody! So I wanted to go over some math strategies that you can go over with your learner. So as a reminder, one math tool that we use in the classroom we call this a math rack. We also call it a reckon rack. So when you're looking at the math rack, means that there's nothing on it because you're always looking on the right side, and red always comes first. So we talk about how 5 is a helpful number and 10. As well as this is also 10 because it's always 5 red, 5 white, and we know 5 and 5 is the same as 10. Which brings us to one of our strategies. So one of our strategies is finding a 5. So for example, if you have the number 6, inside the number 6 there is 5 and 1 more. So this is another example of how combinations is really helpful, because not only is 6 the same as 5 and 1, 6 can be 4 and 2, 3 and 3, 2 and 4, 5 and 1 is also the same as 6. But when we are looking, for example, at the math rack, we see, 5 and 1 more is 6. So finding a 5 is one of our strategies. So another one of our strategies is making a 10, finding a 10. So as an example here, I have 7 and 5. So 7 and 5. So again, 7 is 5 and 2 more. So over here, I see 5 and 5. So this is 10. So I know that 7 and 5 is the same as 12 because over here there's 10 and 2 more is 12. So that is making a 10. Another strategy that is helpful, we call it finding a double. So for example, when we have 7 and 7, we should know right away that 7 and 7 is 14. However, you can also use the finding a 10 strategy to help you as well. Because we know within 7 and 7, there is 5 and 5. 5 and 5 is the same as 10. 2 and 2 is the same as 4. 10 and 4 is the same as 14. So another strategy that we have is double plus 1. So I have an example here. So for example, I have 12 and 1 more is 13, and 4 and 1 is 5. So let's start with 4 and 1. So for example, when you have 4 and 1, but when you're using the doubles to help you, you're thinking, well, I know that 4 is 2 and 2. 2 and 2 and 1 more. So that way you know 2 and 2 is 4, 1 more is 5. And then the other example that we had was 12 and 1. So because I know that double 6 is the same as 12, I can just do 6 and 6 and 1 more. So again, this is where the finding a 10 strategy is really helpful, because within 12 and 1 you have here 5 and 5, which is 10. And then you have 2 and 1, which is 3, so 10 and 3 is 13. So that's how you know 12 and 1 is 13. So another strategy that we have is double minus 1. So the example I have here is 10 minus 1 is equal to 10, 12 minus 1 is equal to 11. So let's start with 10 minus 1. So 10, you can show it like this. So again, 5 and 5 is 10, 1 less is 9, or 10 and 1 less is 9. But the reason I do this double is because you know right away 5 and 5 is 10, 1 less is 9. And then the other example that we have is 12 and 1. So I know that double 6 is 12. So 6 minus 1 is 11. So that way I don't actually have to count up to 12. I don't have to do 10, 11, 12, and then go minus 1. So using a math rack is a helpful strategy. And hopefully when you work with the math rack, you can use it to help you be better at knowing your math facts right away. So make sure that when you're practicing your math facts, that not only are you explaining your strategy, but you're showing it on the math rack as well and naming the strategy that we're using. So again, as a reminder, so here were our 5 math strategies. Finding a 5, making a 10, finding a double, double plus 1, double minus 1. Okay, so of course if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.